I'm John Livesay. I'm known as the Pitch Whisperer. The reason I like to be on stage is nothing gives me more joy than bringing an audience on a journey of self-discovery and realizing that they learn some new tools on how to stop selling and become a storyteller, that it literally changes their lives. People come up to me after I'm on stage and say, "That was amazing. Not only am I motivated, but now I can instantly start using what you just talked about, and I'm so grateful and happy that you came to talk to us." And for me, that makes me feel like I'm really living my purpose, which is to help as many people as possible get off the self-esteem roller coaster of only feeling good about yourself if your numbers are up and bad about yourself if your numbers are down. So the first time I stepped on a stage, I was 10 years old in a production of Oliver Twist, which is about a poor little orphan boy, and he holds his hands up and he goes, "Please, sir, I want some more." And then of course he gets in trouble. And I remember that thrill of being in front of an audience. And then the first time I was a professional speaker, I was speaking to a group of car dealers who represented Land Rover and Jaguar. And I had sold them advertising at W Magazine, but we wanted to help them close more sales if the ad drove traffic to the dealership. And I said, you know, even if you're selling a luxury product like a Jaguar or a Land Rover, you still get no's. And if you can learn to not take rejection personally, you're going to be much better at selling. And that was the light bulb moment for me, was so many people were taking rejection personally, and I had some great tips on how to not do that, and it made them more successful, and that's what made me want to start my sales career as a speaker. The key to stepping into the spotlight is to realize that who you are is enough, and that each of us has a message worth saying. So the more passion you have for what you're selling, the more successful you're going to be. But I back it up even further and say you have to sell yourself first. And then you sell the company you're working for, and then you sell the product. Many people skip those first two steps and jump right into the product. When people buy from people they trust, like, and know. What makes me unique when I give a talk is that I've been in the audience's shoes. I know what it's like to have a quota every year. I know what it's like to have expectations to beat that quota every year. And I know what it's like to deal with objections, and also how you have to sell internally to make everything happen. So when the audience are listening to me speak, they feel like not only are they getting great information, but they have empathy of understanding that I'm telling them something that's worked for me and giving them the skills that they can use so it works for them. What's fun about me is I love photography. I love shows. I love making people laugh. My whole goal is if I can make somebody, even if it's just somebody I'm interacting with for a few minutes in a store or whatever, smile or make them brighten up, then that's a good day for me. So I'm all about putting people together in a way that makes other people say, "Oh, I'm so glad you introduced me to this person, because now we're off and running and doing something." So I really am a firm believer that your network is your net worth. And so I love being a connector to people and figuring out how I can connect what they do and make something magic happen. Well, I think one of the key issues about the future is we have a choice about disruption, because let's face it, the future is being disrupted. We can either embrace it or ignore it. If we embrace it, we are like Netflix. If we ignore it, we'll become like Blockbuster. Not just in our companies, but in our own personal life. So when cryptocurrency started coming around, I had a choice to make. Am I going to ignore this, or am I going to embrace it? I chose to embrace it, and am now the CMO of a startup called Quantum One that's helping people get equity out of their house without having to take on more debt, and the tokens are going to be backed up by that asset. And what makes that so exciting for me is not only is it giving people a way to invest in cryptocurrency that they can understand that there's real estate behind it, but we're actually having a social impact and helping people get money without having more debt. The thing I think is so exciting is that everything's being innovated and disrupted all at the same time, right? So the real reason we want technology to be part of our lives is to make it better. And if you can look at yourself and say, how can I learn to innovate myself? For example, what we're doing today is we're using a red camera. That's completely innovative because it allows you to pull a still from anything you're filming without having to take a picture. It's a new way of using technology that allows you to be even more creative. So the better you embrace what's going on in innovation and think, how can I innovate myself and stay part of that, the more successful you'll be. The thing that I would love event planners to know about me is that I go above and beyond to make you look good to the people that have hired you to make this event successful. I come up with ways that make the talk not just a talk, but a whole experience that gives people a way to feel that they've not only learned something, but they can instantly use it. And when event planners come back to me and say, we got all the responses, 90% of the people gave you a 5 out of 5, and you've made us look good, you exceeded our expectations, that's what I want the event planners to know when they hire me. The secret to becoming irresistible is to realize that it's not an instant step. There's a process to go from invisible to irresistible. And when you become irresistible, you tell the best stories. The person who tells the best stories becomes irresistible, because when you are irresistible, you're tugging at people's heartstrings, and that's what causes them to open the purse strings. And you want to be irresistible by going above and beyond what people are asking you to do. And when you go beyond those expectations, irresistible is the outcome. The role of storytelling when you're on the stage, or even with your friends, is to be so compelling that people lean in and say, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Because a great storyteller pulls people in and has them on the edge of their seats. And the great thing about storytelling is that's what makes you memorable. So if you're one of multiple people that they're interviewing or hearing for a pitch, and you tell the best story, then you're going to be the one that they remember. And so stories all have a little bit of drama, a little bit of conflict, and when you resolve that conflict, then people see themselves in the story and they want to hire you.